in many, many ways, and none of us ever having to want to run away to another country for fictional reasons that we are being persecuted. We are united in diversity, and none of us should ever feel that they have lost courage, that they've now become cowards and want to run. Ons bly hier, ons is Afrikaners, and ons gaan hier bly.
Who claim discrimination in their home country are heading to the United States, where your administration is going to welcome them as refugees. Now, this comes as you've halted virtually all refugee admissions for people fleeing famine and war from countries like Sudan and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Why are you creating an expedited path into the country for Afrikaners but not others?
Because they're being killed, and we don't want to see people be killed. Now, South Africa leadership is coming to see me, I understand, sometime next week. And, we're supposed to have I guess a G20 meeting there or something, but we're having a G20 meeting. I don't know how we can go unless that situation's taken care of, but it's a genocide that's taking place that you people don't want to write about, but it's a terrible thing that's taking place, and farmers are being killed. They happen to be white, but whether they're white or black makes no difference to me, but white farmers are being brutally killed, and their land is being confiscated in South Africa, and the newspapers and the media, television media, doesn't even talk about it. If it were the other way around, they'd talk about it. That would be the only story they'd talk about. And I don't care who they are. I don't care about their race, their color. I don't care about their height, their weight. I don't care about anything. I just know that what's happening is terrible.
You don't like the fact that they're white, and that's why they're coming.
Do you think Afrikaner farmers are the most persecuted group in the world?
I think those 49 people that came certainly felt they were persecuted.
Do you think they're more persecuted than Uyghurs or Rohingyas, or more persecuted than political dissidents in Cuba or Venezuela or Nicaragua, or more persecuted than those who would be threatened should they be returned to Afghanistan by violence by the Taliban?
Well, the problem we face there is the volume problem, okay? If you look at all the persecuted people of the world, it's millions of people. They can't all come here.
Would you agree with me, Mr. Secretary, that if we're interpreting the statutory phrase, a well-justified fear of persecution, we should try to do that in an even-handed way?
I think we should try to do that in the interest of the national security of the United States.
So okay, I agree with you too. We should. Should we try to do it in an even-handed way? So, for example, should we say, if you're persecuted on the grounds of your religion, we'll let you in if you're a Christian, but not if you're a Muslim?
I think that the United States has a right to allow into this country and prioritize allowance of who they want to allow to come in.
But I'm going to ask you, what? Yeah. So a well-justified fear of persecution?
Yeah, they thought that their farms were being burned down and they would be killed. I think that's a pretty good justification for wanting to come. They're afraid for their lives.
And should it be applied in an even-handed way? That's an easy.
No, our foreign policy doesn't require even-handedness. It requires prioritizing the interests of the United States.
The phrase says you are entitled to entrance as a refugee if you demonstrate a well-justified fear of persecution.
No, you're not entitled.
So can you have a different standard based upon the color of somebody's skin? Would that be acceptable?
Well, I'm not the one arguing that. Apparently you are.
We do not have a genocide in South Africa.
This South African farmer wants to set the record straight. He wrote an open letter to US President Donald Trump after Trump offered Afrikaner farmers refugee status.
But it's a genocide that's taking place that you people don't want to write about. But it's a terrible thing that's taking place, and farmers are being killed. They happen to be white.
The first group of 59 Afrikaners traveled to the US in early May. It has raised questions about why a group of white South Africans of Dutch and French descent are being granted refugee status when the Trump administration has stopped all other refugee programs. De Jager represents a large farmer organization which has members across South Africa. He says while it's true that farm murders are a major problem, Trump hasn't got the facts straight.
I wrote the letter to Trump because I feared that he might have a misunderstanding of what is going on here. We thanked him for having sympathy with our cause, but we also said, rather help us to make things better here. Help us to, within our lifetime, fix the problems we have here. And it's not only a race thing. black farmers have similar problems too, and we need those problems also to be attended to.
Trump's genocide claims are a result of brutal attacks on farmers in South Africa. Most of the murders happened during armed robberies. There's a large memorial at Nampo, South Africa's largest farming expo, dedicated to farm murders. It contains around 2,800 names, going as far back as the 1970s. One thing that stands out about this event is the diversity. We've seen many Afrikaners, but we've also seen many black people in attendance. This memorial includes the names of black farmers who were victims of farm murders, debunking the idea that it's a crime that only affects white people. And those we spoke to say while they are concerned about farm murders, they don't want to leave South Africa.
If people want to do it, I think it's a good idea. It gives them an option out if they want. But I personally would not do it. This is my country. And that is something that Mandela fought for, is for freedom for all.
I cannot really say there's a genocide in South Africa. The only thing that is happening is it's a crime in general. You know, in every country, in every places, we do have crimes, irrespective of race, you know. So I think the genocide issue is exaggeration.
Hey guys, I just want to know. Tell me in the comment section, what is a refugee? How would you define a refugee? What is genocide? How would you define genocide? These are both terms that Trump, Musk, and their people have all used to describe a group of white farmers in South Africa, some who have arrived here in the US with their families. So let's talk about it. The truth is, in South Africa, there was a law that was just passed back in January, the Expropriation Act. This act was to undo the disparities that occurred during apartheid. And we know all of the history that comes with that, right? And so a part of South Africa's goal is to redistribute land fairly, because the highest percentage in South Africa are Black or brown South Africans, right? And I say Black or brown because we're really brown, but people call us Black. But that's a whole other story. So the thing about it is, people like this are really running from the law because they don't want things to be fair. It's not about genocide. No one's trying to slaughter the white farmers in South Africa. Have there been killings? Yes, but not just white farmers. There have been black farmers who have been killed too, and it hasn't been genocide. And so I feel like people are using these words out of turn when really, let's think about this for a second. Who is being deported? Are some of these people being deported from the US? Farmers? People who can work in farms? Yes. So why do you think he would want to bring farmers here? To take those jobs? Yes. So does he really have even their best interest in mind? No. He wants to place them in the jobs that need people because he deported the other ones. He doesn't have their best interest in mind, but some people are so invested in Trump that they believe he really has their best interest in mind. Like, they really believe that Trump cares about them, and he really only cares about himself. I feel like if you put Trump on the edge of a cliff with his own son, and he was given the task to either jump off himself or push his son, I feel like he would push his son because that's how selfish he is. And if people don't see that, then shame on you. But this isn't about helping this group of people. They are not refugees. They are trying to escape a law that they don't agree with. That's not what a refugee is. Usually, a refugee is what? Usually, a refugee is someone who is trying to flee from oppression, such as political oppression, religious oppression, and even economic oppression. Not just people who are trying to avoid a law that's going to make things more fair for people who should have had land and owned land years and years and years ago, but it was stripped from them. And now you have a government who's trying to make it right. And especially land that was unoccupied, they're trying to distribute it fairly. But Trump is trying to make it seem like these people's farmlands are just being taken for no reason and that they're being unfairly treated or attacked, or in Musk's words, genocide. So again, I ask, what is a refugee? What is genocide? Are you guys okay with this? Guys, I think we just all need to be watchful of what's going on because there's so much going on in the news that is distractions. You know, you're watching court cases that are going on, the Diddy court case and all these different things that are going on. The Menendez brothers who are trying to get their day in court so that they can try to get out of prison. All these popular news stories, right, that we're all interested in as well. We just have to be careful that we don't miss things like this. Because this is just the first group. Removing people that are brown and black, bringing people that are white to replace them.
So South African farmers are fleeing to America because they allege that they are dealing with violence. And I'm confused because Donald Trump just gave them a fast track to become a U.S. citizen. He called what's happening over there genocide. Genocide? So we got to be all the way real here. Why them? Why do they get the fast track over here to become citizens? There's people all over the world that's dealing with worse conditions than this. Refugees from wars, famines, real genocide. But they're not getting this special treatment like them. No, sir. So what makes this different for Donald Trump? This clearly looked like favoritism. The ultimate protection for the complexion. Trump, the same person that was trying to ban certain people from coming over here from over there. Y'all remember? Now all of a sudden we got this open door. He feels so bad about them. When, like I said, there's a whole lot of people going through it, not just them. Somebody make this make sense. Y'all telling me I'm tripping? Y'all think I'm tripping?
Out of the entire population of South Africa, which is about 56 million, 7.8% of it is white South Africans. That's roughly 1 million. And out of those 1 million white South Africans that are in fear of their lives, who are slaughtered on a regular basis, 59 of them took up Donald Trump's offer to come to the United States and be free, to flee the danger. While the highest court in South Africa in February of this year has ruled that the whole scenario, the narrative that South Africans are in danger of losing their lives, they're being slaughtered, farmers are being slaughtered, they have ruled that is completely false. There is no evidence whatsoever to support it because it's a conspiracy that was created by right-wing white nationalists. And as white South Africaners themselves tell you it's not true, as it's been proven to be completely false in every single way, over and over and over, without a doubt. But since Donald Trump says it, we get to listen to white American Trump supporters try to convince us that what Donald Trump says is true. So while black South African farmers have been given no refugee status to the U.S., we get to see live in color the ones that are welcomed. And let's be completely honest about it. There is only one word that Trump supporters care about to validate what Donald Trump has done. White.
Thank you for watching Great Minds Blacks.